For the 6th season in a row, Walters is the official bar of the Nats Chat podcast, located across the street from the ballpark, just off South Capitol Street.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
The pitch. Swing and a drive hit well. Right center field. No one's getting this one. Going. Gone. Goodbye. Off the facing of the second deck in right center field. Caroling down into section 142 above the big wall in right center field. Bang! Zoom goes C.J. Abrams with his 7th home run of the year, RBI number 20, and he has tied this game here with 1 out of the bottom of the 4th inning. It's now the Nationals 2 and the Braves 2. Now the pitch. Inside, gets away from Ruiz, and here comes the runner, Baldwin, to score. And the Braves take the lead here in the top of the 7th inning. It's Atlanta 3 and Washington 2. And Varland delivers, swing and a drive hit well. Right center field. No one's catching this one. It's down and 1 up off the big wall. Albee streaking for third. He's being waved home. Relay to Abrams. Can't control the ball. Albee slides across the plate head first. And Harris is at second with a double to right center field. His 3rd hit of the game. Drives in his 2nd run of the day. And the Braves played their 4th run of the inning. And it's now Atlanta 6 and Washington 2.
And welcome to Nats Chat. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. My usual co-host, Nats insider Mark Zuckerman of NatsJournal.com. He is off for this installment of the podcast, but it is nice to be with you. This episode is brought to us by the Golf Yards in Ballston, the DMV's new home for elite indoor golf training. The Nats season is just getting going, and so is the DMV's golf season. Make sure that your swing is ready too. Visit thegolfyards.com to secure your spot. So you do not need to have been a Washington Nationals fan for long to be familiar with the team having bad relief pitching. The Nats, over so many of their now 22 seasons in Washington, D.C., have had bad relief pitching. But could it be that this season's relief pitching is the worst yet for the Nats? Long way to go, but do not dismiss that possibility. Another bullpen meltdown and another Nats loss. A 7-2 loss to the Atlanta Braves at Nationals Park on Thursday afternoon to lose 3 out of 4 games in the series and to conclude a 2-5 homestand. The Nats in MLB's 2026 regular season now are 11-15, 3-10 at home versus 8-5 on the road. That home road disparity is something. 3-10 at home versus 8-5 on the road. Well, the Nats do now have a 6-game road trip. So road, sweet road. You know the saying, home sweet home? For the Nats, the mantra is road, sweet road. The Braves, they in this regular season now are a National League East best 18-8. And yeah, the Nats bullpen struck again. The Nats overcame a 2-1 4th inning deficit with a run in the bottom of the 4th. The game was tied at 2 in the 7th. And the Nats allowed 4 runs in the top of the 7th and a run in the top of the 9th. 4 Nats relievers combined to allow 5 runs in 4 innings. Now, Richard Lovelady did well. He at the top of the 6th faced 4 batters and got 3 outs, including a 3-pitch swinging strikeout of pinch hitter Eli White with runners on first and second, 2 outs, and the game tied at 2. That seemed like a big out at the time, but Cionel Perez and Gus Varland, they really struggled in that Braves 4-run 7th. Cionel Perez officially allowed 3 runs in a third of an inning. He had what ended up being that 4-run seventh for the Braves, faced 4 batters, but got just 1 out. He generated a swinging strikeout of Ronald Acuna Jr., but then sandwiched 2 one-out walks around a 1-out single to load the bases. And Gus Varland, he officially allowed 1 run in 2/3 of an inning, but he was much worse than that line suggests. He had a nightmare of an outing. Varland came into the game in the top of the 7th with the bases loaded, 1 out, and the score tied at 2. Before he even threw a pitch, was called for a pitch clock violation. He, on his very first actual pitch, issued a run-scoring wild pitch for a 3-2 Braves lead. Varland, on his next pitch, gave up a 1-out, 2-run single by Ozzie Albies to right field for a 5-2 Braves lead. Varland, 2 pitches later, gave up a 1-out RBI double by Michael Harris II off the right center field warning track for a 6-2 Braves lead. And Varland then gave up a 1-out single by ex-Nat Dominic Smith to right field on an 0-2 pitch, by the way. Varland was bad, but he was bad in like lightning quick fashion. Everything unraveled over just a handful of pitches, and the unraveling started before he even threw a pitch via that pitch clock violation. And Julian Fernandez, he allowed 1 run in 2 innings. He, in the top of the 9th, gave up a leadoff homer by Ozzie Albies to right field for a 7-2 Braves lead. Now, the Nats shortly after the game announced having optioned Fernandez to AAA Rochester, and the corresponding roster move reportedly will be the Nats promoting pitcher Riley Cornelio from AAA Rochester, for which Cornelio has been a starting pitcher, but the plan appears to be for him to serve as a reliever for the Nats at the major league level for now. But like I said, the Nats bullpen struck again. The Nats for this regular season now have the following relief pitching stats: ERA of 5.56, whip of 1.52, 23 home runs allowed in 124 2/3 innings, 62 walks allowed in 124 2/3 innings, just 98 strikeouts in 124 2/3 innings. And the lack of strikeouts is a major problem. 98 strikeouts in 124 2/3 innings works out to a strikeouts per 9 innings of just 7.07, way too low for a bullpen. You want that relief pitching strikeouts per 9 innings to be in double digits, 10. At worst, 9. 7.07, way too low of a strikeouts per 9 innings for a bullpen. Now, of course, none of this is exactly shocking. We anticipated the Nats bullpen in this season number 1 of a restarted rebuild potentially being bad, but the extent of the bad is disappointing. The bullpen was an Achilles heel for Mike Rizzo as Nats president of baseball operations and general manager. How will Paul Taboni prove to be as Nats president of baseball operations regarding bullpens? The irony with Rizzo having the bullpen as an Achilles heel is that one of his first major accomplishments running Nats baseball ops was improving the bullpen in season during the 2009 season. Perhaps you remember the Nats closer that season, Mike McDougal, who had maybe the best nickname in Nats history, Mac the Ninth. I was a big fan of that nickname for Mike McDougal, Mac the Ninth. But Rizzo actually improved that Nats bullpen in that 2009 season, even though, yes, the bullpen proved to be an Achilles heel for him running Nats baseball ops. What about Taboni and the Nats with their new analytics-based process? Can Taboni and his staff work some in-season magic here with this bullpen via, improvement from within and or call-ups and or waiver claims to where the bullpen gets better? Doesn't have to be dominant, but it's a shame with the Nats offense overall being good that this bullpen is this bad.
There goes the runner. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a curve. Strikeout number 10 for Cade Cavalli, the first Nationals pitcher to reach double digits.
Now, a major positive from the Nats' 7-2 loss to the Braves at Nationals Park on Thursday afternoon is that 3 key young Nats players did well. Starting pitcher Cade Cavalli had a good outing. Right fielder James Wood homered, and shortstop C.J. Abrams homered. Cade Cavalli, he had been struggling. He came into this game with the following stats over 5 games, all starts in this regular season. ERA of 4.12, whip of 1.73, just 19 2/3 innings pitched. He was lucky that ERA wasn't higher given how high his whip was, and the mere 19 2/3 innings over 5 starts really stood out. But Cavalli on Thursday afternoon was very good, and against one of the best teams in MLB, he allowed 2 runs in 5 innings with 10 strikeouts versus no walks. 2 runs in 5 innings, exactly what I asked for on the preceding installment of the Nats Chat podcast. And Cavalli didn't just give us 2 runs in 5 innings. He gave us 10 strikeouts versus no walks. So good to see that. Gave up 7 hits, which were 2 doubles and 5 singles. He issued a hit by pitch, but he threw a lot of strikes. 85 pitches, 62 strikes, just 23 balls. So Cavalli in the top of the 4th allowed 2 runs as he gave up a leadoff double by Matt Olson off the right center field warning track, an opposite field double by Austin Riley to right field, a first pitch RBI sac fly by Ozzie Albies to tie the game at 1, and a 1-out opposite field RBI single by Michael Harris II to left center field for a 2-1 Braves lead. But Cavalli really came through in the top of the 5th. He in the top of the 5th gave up a leadoff single by Ronald Acuna Jr. up the middle, but Cavalli then generated 3 consecutive swinging strikeouts of the Braves numbers 2 through 4 batters in Drake Baldwin, Matt Olson, and Austin Riley. Awesome to see that. No starting pitcher for the Nats at the major league level matters more than Cade Cavalli. The Nats took him with the number 22 overall pick in the 2020 MLB first-year player draft out of the University of Oklahoma. This is his age 27 season. He missed a lot of time off undergoing Tommy John surgery on his right elbow in March 2023. But Thursday afternoon was a reminder of what Cavalli can be. Here was Nats manager Blake Butera during his postgame press conference on Thursday afternoon on Cade Cavalli, and then you'll hear a follow-up exchange.
Yeah, I hope he takes this and runs with it. I thought this outing was, I know this outing was the best one by far. No walks, I think 10 strikeouts. The stuff was huge. He was attacking guys. He just looked different out there. He looked like he was ready to go from the jump and just went right at people and attack them. And with the stuff that he has when he's in the zone as frequently as he was today, the results are going to be really good.
Why do you think he was in the zone more often this game?
I don't know. If you asked him last time, I'd say he wanted to be. It wasn't, I don't think, anything major. Maybe he tells you something differently, but I think he just attacked hitters better. And that's what he's done before, especially in spring training. There's a lot of that. I know the last few outings, a little bit more hit or miss with him being in the zone. Today he looked like the Cade Cavalli we expect to see.
Yeah, Cade Cavalli in this game per StatCast had an average 4-seam fastball velocity of 97.1 miles per hour. We later, in the Blake Butera postgame press conference on Thursday afternoon, had this exchange.
It felt like, especially early on, that Cade was kind of almost simplifying that arsenal. What do you think? Was that kind of part of the plan? And what do you think, just going back to that fastball and curveball, do you think that's just kind of something that he feels more comfortable with?
Yeah, I think so. You definitely have to ask Cade himself. But just really happy that Cade attacked and got ahead of hitters and didn't walk anybody today, made them swing the bats. This is a really good lineup. I know it sounds crazy to say we want them to swing the bat, but we do.
By the way, Nats pitchers in this 7-2 loss to the Braves at Nationals Park on Thursday afternoon combined for 15 strikeouts. This off Nats pitchers in the 8-6 loss to the Braves at Nationals Park on Wednesday evening combining for just 1 strikeout.
The Nats season is officially underway, and that means the outdoor golf season here in the DMV is just kicking off too. But let me ask you this. Is your swing actually ready for the course? Or are you still knocking off the winter rust? If you are tired of losing strokes earlier in the year, you need to check out the Golf Yards. They're opening the most advanced indoor golf performance club in the DMV right here in Ballston, located directly off I-66. This isn't just another simulator bar. It's a true 24/7 training facility featuring the best tech in the game. Tour-grade TrackMan simulators, well-putt putting technology, Techno Gym and Oxfit strength training used by Olympians and PGA Tour pros, and a one-of-a-kind short game area with a real sand trap. It's the perfect place to fix your slice, work on your short game, or just escape the unpredictable spring weather. Doors are opening this May, but founding memberships are going fast. They are building an incredible community of golf enthusiasts in the DMV and want you to be part of it. Go to thegolfyards.com right now to lock in your founding membership and get your swing dialed in. That's thegolfyards.com.
Big thanks to our sponsor, BetterHelp, for partnering with us for this important conversation about mental health.
This is Steve Smith here, former NFL wide receiver and host of the 89 show on YouTube. So having a counselor and working with BetterHelp, that gives you an opportunity to really start to unpack. But people don't understand, when you unpack things, you also open up a box that you're not always sure what's inside. So I think that's why seeing a professional is extremely important. If you need someone to open up to, visit BetterHelp. That's betterhelp.com/89 to get started.
We've all been there. You're away for the weekend. The big game is on, and you realize you're restricted from watching. Or maybe you're trying to check the latest lines on your betting app, but your local network is blocking the site. These are the ultimate unforced errors. You can prevent this from happening to you with IPVanish. IPVanish is the powerhouse VPN designed to keep you in the game no matter where you are. IPVanish helps you stay connected to your favorite team and streaming services while you travel. But it's not just about watching the game. For the bettors out there, IPVanish provides an extra layer of security and privacy that helps you access your account safely on public Wi-Fi. Plus, IPVanish is lightning fast, so you won't have to worry about lag during those crucial live betting moments. Right now, get a massive discount at IPVanish.com. That's IPVanish.com to get started today. Secure your play and go to IPVanish.com.
Hey, Nats chat. You heard in the opening segment, I'll refer to the fact that Riley Cornelio, one of the Nats' top pitching prospects, is reportedly on his way up to join the team on their road trip in Chicago on Friday. Mark was off on Thursday, but he did send over a report on Cornelio. So you're about to hear Mark's quick report, then back to Al about James Wood's 10th homer of the season.
They're calling up Riley Cornelio, right-hander from AAA Rochester. He'll be in Chicago with the team on Friday. Now, that said, the plan for now, from what I was told, is that he would be available out of the bullpen. He is a starter. He has made 4 starts at AAA so far and been really good, 2-0 with a 2.45 ERA, and most impressively 27 strikeouts in only 18 1/3 innings. He's also on schedule. It'll be 5 days since his last start, which was Sunday against Buffalo. The real question is going to be long-term. Is he here just in the short term, or is he here long-term? They like him a lot. He impressed them this spring. He really rose through the ranks of the organization over the last year. This is a 7th-round pick in 2022 out of TCU. Not a blue chip prospect by any stretch, but he took off last year, got promoted from Wilmington to Harrisburg, eventually to Rochester. He won Organizational Pitcher of the Year. They added him to the 40-man roster, so that gave him a spot on the big league spring training roster. They decided in the end it was better for him to go down to AAA and open the year in the rotation, and then they'd call him up when they had a need. Well, got off to a really good start, like I said, at AAA. He's up here now. For now, probably pitching in long relief, but we will see. At some point, I do expect they would want to get a look at Riley Cornelio as a big league starter.
It's on the way, and Wood cracks one high and deep to right field. Acuna looking at it go, and it is gone. Welcome to the big leagues. James Wood greets Richie quite rudely. His first pitch sent over the wall for his 10th homer of the season. And just like that, 1 pitch in, it's the Nationals 1 and the Braves nothing.
The Nats offense on Thursday afternoon, a rare bad game. Just 2 runs, just 5 hits, which were 2 home runs and 3 singles, just 2 walks. How about this? 0 at-bats with runners in scoring position. Yeah, the Nats did not have a single at-bat with a runner in scoring position the entire game. The Braves starting pitcher was J.R. Ritchie, who they took with the number 35 overall pick in the 2022 MLB first-year player draft out of a high school in the state of Washington. He, in what was his MLB regular season debut, allowed 2 runs in 7 innings with 7 strikeouts. Very impressive. Though he, on his very first pitch, gave up a homer. James Wood. He is the Nats starting right fielder and number one batter, went 1 for 4 with a solo homer. Did strike out twice, but Wood in the Nats 1-run first had a leadoff first pitch homer to right field, a rare pull-side homer for Wood for a 1-0 Nats lead. This marked Wood homering for a third consecutive game, and the homer came on J.R. Ritchie's first pitch in his first MLB regular season game. But James Wood is rolling. He now has homered in 3 consecutive games and did 5 of the Nats' last 7 games. Wood for this regular season now has an OPS of 1,010 and now has 10 home runs. C.J. Abrams, he is the Nats starting shortstop and number 4 batter, went 1 for 3 with a solo homer and a walk. Abrams in the Nats 1-run fourth had a 1-out solo homer to right center field to tie the game at 2. The homer went a projected 426 feet per Statcast. Abrams for this regular season now has an OPS of 975 and now has 7 home runs, and he now has 13 walks. And I bring that up because Abrams, for all of last regular season, totaled just 37 walks. His walk rate has shot up. And regarding that, piece from the Associated Press on Thursday morning, headline, quote, "With walks at 75-year high, players point to ABS changes," end quote. Is C.J. Abrams among the many MLB players benefiting from ABS changes regarding drawing walks? I read to you from the piece, quote, "Walks have skyrocketed to near historic highs through the season's first month. There is no direct evidence ABS is the reason for the increase, but as Diamondbacks catcher James McCann said, of course it is. What other rules have changed? MLB players have drawn a walk in 9.8% of plate appearances this season through Wednesday's games, which would be the highest rate since 1950. The rate is likely to come down as the season progresses. Pitchers usually have more trouble finding the zone during widespread chilly conditions in northern cities during March and April. But even adjusted for the time of year, walks have made a massive jump from last season. Everyone knew the strike zone would change. MLB had to rewrite its definition of the zone to accommodate the shift to robot umpires. The official baseball rules long described a zone as stretching from the midpoint of the hitter's torso down to the hollow beneath the kneecap. The new zone is more precise. It starts at 27% of a batter's standing height and stretches to 53.5%. The ABS zone is 17 inches wide, matching the width of home plate. All pitches are measured at the midpoint of the plate, end quote. This is going to be very interesting to follow. Does the overall walk rate in MLB continue to be sky high? And if so, is MLB's new automated ball strike challenge system, ABS, the main reason? Or is this more, correlation than causation? Like, is it not the case that ABS is causing this? We'll see, but I found that to be a fascinating piece by the Associated Press. And also with the Nats offense on Thursday afternoon, Dalen Lyle, he is the Nats starting left fielder and number 6 batter, went 2 for 2 with 2 singles and a walk, but he got tagged out in an attempted steal of home. Lyle, in the bottom of the second, had a 1-out opposite field single to left field, but he got tagged out between third base and home plate on a failed attempt at a delayed steal of home with runners at the corners and 2 outs. So the runner on first base, Jorbeat Bibas, did what he was supposed to do in getting caught in a rundown between first base and second base, but the Braves abandoned that and got Lyle caught in a rundown. First time in 3 tries in this regular season that this play did not work out for the Nats. They had been doing a nice job with that play, but the play did not work out on Thursday afternoon. But a 2-hit game for Dalen Lyle. He got off to a slow start, but he now is doing well. Lyle for this regular season now has an OPS of 799.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/zip to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
The 1-0. Swing a line drive well hit to left. Moving over is Dubon. He'll track it down, make the catch, and the game is over. Braves win it 7-2. J.R. Ritchie goes 7 strong innings in his major league debut to pick up the win, even after giving up a first pitch home run to James Wood. Nationals will settle for a 2-5 homestand as they drop 3 of 4 in their first meetings of the season against the Atlanta Braves.
Next up for the Nats is a 6-game road trip beginning with a 3-game series at the Chicago White Sox. Game 1 Friday night at 7:40, Miles Michaelis will be the Nats starting pitcher. Game 2 Saturday afternoon at 4:10, Jake Irvin will be the Nats starting pitcher. Game 3 Sunday afternoon at 2:10, Foster Griffin will be the Nats starting pitcher. You can find us on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. You can email us natschatpodcast@gmail.com. We have a website that you could check out. natschatpodcast.com, at which you can purchase a Nats Chat Podcast t-shirt. This installment of Nats Chat has been brought to us by the Golf Yards in Ballston, the DMV's new home for elite indoor golf training. The Nats season is just getting going, and so is the DMV's golf season. Make sure that your swing is ready to visit thegolfyards.com to secure your spot. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat are courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. I'm Al Galdi. Thank you for listening to Nats Chat, and we leave you now with a conversation that the creator, owner, and executive producer of Nats Chat, Tim Shovers, had with Bob Black. Bob is the director of broadcast and news content for the University of Richmond. He is the voice of the Richmond Spiders, providing play-by-play for Richmond football and men's basketball broadcasts on radio, television, and Spider TV. He also is the host of the Sports Huddle on the Spiders' flagship radio station, ESPN Richmond. Although Bob is retiring from that job, but I've had the pleasure of being a guest of Bob on that show many times. And Tim talked to Bob about Richmond's new CarMax Park for the Richmond Flying Squirrels, who are the AA team for the San Francisco Giants. What about the Nats one day having Richmond as an affiliate, perhaps their AAA affiliate? This is something that a lot of us have wondered about for a while. Are we perhaps getting closer to that becoming a reality? Here is Tim with Bob.
Honored to be joined by Bob Black, longtime on-air presence in Richmond, Virginia, in the final month of his long-running show, The Sports Huddle, on 106.1 in Richmond, the ESPN radio station where this podcast airs every Sunday morning during baseball season. Bob has been the longtime voice of the Richmond Spiders, a giant killer over the years in March Madness, and Bob spent 11 years as the play-by-play announcer for the Richmond Braves, back when they were the Atlanta Braves' AAA affiliate. Want to bring Bob on today to talk about CarMax Park, the brand new minor league ballpark in Richmond. Bob, thank you for joining Nats Chat.
Tim, appreciate you asking me. That was a heck of an introduction. I hope I can live up to it. As I warn listeners in Richmond all the time, this is not the end of me. It's just a little bit less of me giving up that talk show, but certainly will continue as the play-by-play voice of the Richmond Spiders, which I've loved doing, and I love talking baseball. So I'm looking forward to our conversation.
All right, sounds good. Well, speaking of baseball, have you been to the new stadium yet?
Yeah, I went Sunday, ending their first homestand of the year. So it wasn't the mass throng of opening night and figuring out all the little details and sellout crowd. It was still a really good crowd, but they had figured some things out, and it was an awesome experience. I mean, this was a long time in coming, Tim, literally 2 decades in coming through a lot of political, governmental red tape in the city of Richmond, but it's been worth the wait. It was an outstanding experience, and I'm looking forward to getting back.
I went by it over the off season. I checked it out one morning and the area around the ballpark. And my quick view without going inside was there's not a bad seat in the ballpark. Am I correct?
Yeah, so the first thing that you notice when you come in there is the 360-degree aspect of it. And I think that's been the biggest selling point of the Flying Squirrels and the city, is that you literally can walk the entire ballpark once you're in it And the big trivia note is that no one in the long history of minor league baseball in Richmond has ever caught a home run ball in the ballpark, because there's never been seating beyond the outfield fences. Now, you may have gotten a ball and a broken windshield in your car beyond the outfield fences in the parking lot, but no fan had ever caught a home run ball inside the ballpark in a Richmond, Virginia minor league baseball game. And that has now changed because there's outfield seating, there's grass berm seating in the outfield. First thing I did when I went was literally walk the 360 degrees. It reminds me a little bit of Nats Park. To be honest with you, with the big center field gate at Nats Park, coming in from the Navy Yard, same thing at this ballpark. That is the main entrance point, and then you fan out either left field line, right field line to find your seats. So I think they did a great job with the design of the ballpark and the opportunity, again, to be able to go 360 degrees.
So is this stadium, and we'll get to why in a second, but is this stadium AAA eligible? Do you know?
Yes, absolutely. And as you alluded to, having done AAA ball for over a decade here in Richmond with the old Richmond Braves, I think that's the eventual intent. I don't think it's going to come quite as quickly as maybe I and some others thought it would come. It is very definitely AAA ready ballpark. In fact, in sitting in it on Sunday, it had the feel of a very good spring training facility down in Florida, the new spring training facilities down there. And I happened to spend some time this spring at one of them, and it did remind me of that. So it's got 9,500 seats. I haven't gotten the behind the scenes tour yet, Tim. I'm looking forward to doing that, I think, on their next homestand, and see the clubhouses, hitting facility, training areas, all of that. But to answer your question, yes, I think it's eventually going to be AAA. It just makes too much sense. They draw tremendous crowds as they are now. They lead the Eastern League in attendance virtually every year. They're one of the top attendance grabbers in all of minor league baseball. Now, the flip side of that is the San Francisco Giants have been here the entire existence. And they plowed through the old ballpark, the Diamond, which probably should have been torn down about 20 years ago. They put a lot of Band-Aids on it. They made it work. And I think Major League Baseball probably feels we need to give them, 2 or 3 years where they can enjoy some of the fruits of their labor as a AA affiliate. But then I really believe this will eventually, once again, be a AAA franchise.
And when it is a AAA franchise, will it be the Washington Nationals?
Well, I think it makes too much sense for it not to be just right up the road, right up 95. So, yes, I think that would be Major League Baseball's design. And as you know, Major League Baseball has taken over the minor leagues at this point. It's not the independent operators making their own deals. Major League Baseball is controlling this. And I think from a cost-effective standpoint, from a logistics standpoint, it just makes too much sense. And then Washington would, have all of its franchises, pretty much all of its franchises within this, DMV corridor. So that would seem to be the way they would go with it. Again, I think they are treading lightly with the Giants because the Giants have been such a good operator of the AA franchise here in Richmond that they do want to take care of them. And I would also say, Tim, in this day and age, it's not as hard to get players to the next level or 2 levels as it used to be. I mean, you can get them there pretty quickly when you need to now. So even with the AA affiliate on the East Coast, their AAA affiliate and Major League team on the West Coast, it really hasn't been too much of a logistical issue for the Giants to make those player moves. But again, long-winded answer, I do think eventually it will be AAA and it'll be the Washington Nationals.
Fan breakdown across the city, roughly Braves versus Nats versus even Giants. What's the percentages?
Yeah, I still think old habits die hard. I still think there are probably more Braves fans here than anything. They were here for a long, long time. It didn't end great when Atlanta left here, but I think people understood why, because of the facility, the antiquated ballpark, and the inability to get a new park developed here is probably what forced the Braves to leave. But I still think the majority of the fan base here is Braves. I would probably put the Nationals a close second. Obviously, the success they had in winning a World Series championship. I know it's a lot of years ago now, but I do think that evolved the Nationals fan base here in the Richmond area. And then I think they love their flying squirrels, but I'm not sure there's a great connection to the San Francisco Giants. I mean, they're still a level away really from being called up, from seeing, major leaguers on television. And of course, their games are, 3 hours behind from the East Coast. So I would go Braves, Nats, Giants.
One thing I want to ask you about is something that isn't baseball related, but you covered Miracle on Ice. Give me one memory from that. Tell our listeners your experience from that day.
Well, a lot of memories were conjured back up this year, of course, with the U.S. Olympic hockey team winning yet another gold medal. So I was still a student at Syracuse University in 1980 when I was fortunately able to cover the Olympic hockey team and the win that led to the gold medal, the win over the Soviet Union. A couple of things that I would remember from that: when the game ended, and I went back out of the arena into the Olympic Village and onto the streets, the patriotism and the enthusiasm just blindsided me. I mean, the flags waving everywhere, the fans jumping up and down in the streets of little Lake Placid, New York. So I definitely remember that aspect of it. The other part of it is, and in these days, it was probably broadcasting illegal, but I did it anyway because ABC had the exclusive rights to this thing. You couldn't do anything with it until they replayed it at 8 o'clock at night, because this game was played in the middle of the afternoon on a weekday. I recorded kind of a semi-play-by-play, semi-report of the last 30 seconds and the aftermath, and have kept that for 40 plus years now. And I definitely remember recording it on a tape recorder, taking that tape recorder, tucking it under my arm, and running from the arena to the media center where we filed these reports back to our radio stations. You don't have to do that anymore in this day and age. You just click your cell phone and you do it. And I just remember thinking, I think I got something pretty good here, and I want to make sure I get it to my little student radio station at Syracuse, New York. It was quite an experience, especially for a college kid. We were pretty fortunate to be able to get passes to the Olympics that year because it was relatively close to Syracuse.
Of all the times to be in college, there happens to be the Olympics in upstate New York. Way to take that pitch and properly turn on it and hit it 500 feet out of the ballpark, Bob.
I'm just glad that it was a highlight of my broadcasting career and not the highlight of my broadcasting career, with nothing else to follow for the next 40 plus years, that I already had what I needed at age, whatever that was, 21 or 22. It's still way up there, obviously. And we talk about it every year on the anniversary of that game. We've replayed my report. We've talked about it. I've had other people on the air. It is certainly a favorite memory. So I appreciate you bringing it back up.
No problem about it. And last question for you here. This is just deep cut inside college hoops. Where should the A10 tournament be every year?
Well, my answer to that, if you ask me in about 3 years, will be the new building that we're building in our area down here. So there are plans on the tables, and they're getting ready to put a shovel into the dirt to build about a 18,000 seat arena just north of Richmond. And obviously, selfishly, as a Richmond guy, and the VCU people, I'm sure, would agree as well, we would love to have that tournament here. And I can tell you, when they build that arena, they will certainly make a pitch for the Atlantic 10 tournament, not to mention the ACC tournament and the CAA tournament as well. But all things being equal beyond that, Tim, yes, DC would be my answer. It's certainly our favorite place. We won the A10 championship there in 2022 over Davidson. And I think just logistically, so many schools are close enough to DC, whether you're talking about Richmond and VCU, George Mason and George Washington, the Philly schools, LaSalle and St. Joe's, even Fordham coming from New York. So I think DC is probably the place for it to be. The problem with doing it every year is you're dealing with, obviously, the Wizards and the Caps, and the ACC wants to be in DC from time to time. So I don't know if they can keep it there consistently, but that would be my first choice until we build our arena down here. Then we would love for the Atlantic 10 to come here.
I love that answer right there, and in the spirit, because I'm rooting very hard for the Nats and Richmond to link up, and for that to be the AAA team, hopefully basically come next decade. Bob, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your insights and your time.
Tim, enjoyed it. Let's do it again.
Less than 10 seconds to go in the game. The United States is about to upset the Soviet Union. 2-1, it is victory. There it is. The United States has upset the Soviet Union. 4-3. This place is going absolutely wild. It is pandemonium in the Olympic Center as the United States has upset the Soviet Union. The sticks are thrown high into the air. Some of the players are throwing the sticks into the stand. It is utter joy at the Olympic Center. Just listen to this crowd.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter.com/zip.